I'm out here with Casey. Casey, how long have you been doing blues? How long have you been homeless?
Homeless going on 7, maybe 8 years. Blues, like maybe 5 years. It was H before then, and meth before that, and drugs have been around since I've been about 9. But I mean, I smoked weed before, like when I was about 6 or 7. But yeah.
So when you were 6 or 7, you started marijuana, and then meth and H at 9.
Yes.
Who got you started with that? Who gave you that?
My dad, he was doing 30-day benders at a time, and basically, my dad had my 2 big brothers who were, at the time, they were 12 and I believe 14, 15, and he had them bring their friends over to the house, so we called ourselves Rejects, and they came over to the house, and my dad had them all selling drugs. You know, my dad had everybody, he'd pay them to keep the house clean for the cops to come over and see a clean house. So he'd pay them a double G to clean, to mop. One kid mops, one kid sweeps, another double G, you know, and he would all read them up, you know. So we were selling to the neighborhood kids, and yeah, we had about like 20, 30 kids at the house at the time, just sleeping underneath beds, inside closets, yeah, they were all on deck, so they were all, you know, read up anytime they ran out, and they would all sell drugs to the neighborhood kids, and my dad would make a lot of money that way. So, you know, I got in with that. You know, my dad thought that he was Jesus, and he had us kind of following it. I mean, it was Spotty who believed him, you know what I mean, because I believed him. Of course, I believe my dad. I believe my dad really had Jesus inside of him, you know what I mean, because we were Christian before that, we were hardcore Christian. And I was like, wow, Jesus is really inside my dad doing this crazy things. And, you know, my dad's killing these demons with his eyes, you know, because my dad would kind of squint his eyes like that, and then he'd say he's killing demons. So we believed him, you know. And my dad was a pastor, so he spoke in tongues, and he really sold it to us. And we were in and out of houses after we lost that house. So basically, you know, I was smoking meth during that time with my dad. My brothers didn't want me doing it because I was the youngest in the family. They were like, oh, we can't be giving, you know, one of us has to be clean. But I mean, they kind of failed, you know, to keep me clean because I still found it, you know. So yeah, so my dad at these 30-day benders, as I was saying, I'm sorry, but he would say, you know, son, this is Jesus. He's gonna talk to you again. And he would close his eyes, and he'd come back as Jesus, and he would tell me that he blessed the meth, and all those who were to ingest the meth were blessed and like holy water, you know what I mean? And my dad would come back and say, all right, so you heard our Lord and Savior, you have to take this. And I'm like, but Dad, I don't want to do it, you know, like I seen what it did to you, and you know, and my brothers were, you know, clean at the time, you know what I mean, because we were spotty getting clean and being dirty, but so at the time they were clean, and then yeah, I told him, you know, I don't want to do it, you know, and my brothers told me not to do it, and he said, well, if you don't, Jesus told me I'm forced to thrash you because then you'll be part of the legion, you know, 10,000 demons, and I had no argument at that point. He was forced to thrash me.
Where was your mom during all of this?
She was trying very hard to get a hold of us, but my dad, every time she would try, literally, like, we saw my dad throwing a big ass rock at her head, and we thought an angel had saved my mom because we watched the rock freaking curve. So, like, I mean, like a curveball, but you know, whatever. We saw, you know what I mean, this rock going straight for her head, and right when it was about, it just went off course and didn't hit her. But she was running as fast as she could towards her car because he's like, get out of here, you know, these are my kids. So she had to basically go through the courts. And while she was going through the courts and the system was broken because she thought she can get them to take us, you know what I mean? But no, the courts and the cops, they would go over, and my dad would just manipulate them and show them, look, it's a clean house, you know, they just had their friends over, there's no drugs here, you know. And they told my mom, look, There's nothing wrong with kids being over. You know, they have a family band. My dad was the lead singer of the band. We're called the Blind Dreamers. And there's a high school very close to me that we actually won a talent show as the Blind Dreamers later on. But so we carried the band on. My dad was lead singer of that band, and that's what was a cover. You know what I mean? The cops would come over and see all the kids over. It's like, oh, okay, there's a band playing. You know what I mean? They all like the band, and the dad's the lead singer. You know, it was a metal band. And yeah, so that was the cover. And my mom would call, and my dad would be like, okay, look, we need to get your mom away. So if you don't do this, you're grounded. You're grounded. I'm taking your PS2 away, whatever. But we're gonna call your mom, and each one of you are gonna say, F you, mom, you're a C, you know what I mean? We hate you, we don't want you here, we never wanted you, we never loved you, this and that. And he manipulated us to call and tell her that. And instantly we cried after we made that call, you know, but he manipulated us to do it, you know?
Where's your dad at now?
Clean. He pays for my, he financially funds every weekend my habit. So it was every day before, but he's kind of put his, you know, put down, and he's like, all right, I'll just, every weekend I'll go over and give you money for your habit, you know? And that's just because after the whole spiel with, you know, the band and all that stuff and everything, he was homeless. And he goes, you know, I wish that I had someone like me when I was, you know, when I was homeless. I wish I had someone coming to give me money, you know, so that's what I'm gonna do for you. You know, I'm gonna, because even though it's a drug, I know when I had it, it was just, oh man, you know, relief, you know, so that's what I'm gonna give you. You know, so my dad's giving me that relief. He's clean. He's staying with my grandma. He did that with his own place for, not his own place, but he likes staying with my sister and my brothers. You know, loves being close to family. He'd rather have that than have his own place. Plus it saves money, so. But yeah, right now he's with my grandma, and he's clean. He's been clean for a while. It took him 3 days in prison, but yeah.
How's your relationship with your mom and siblings?
Man, they keep trying, man. They keep trying, and freaking stuff just, it's got a hook in you whenever you know, and they keep trying to get me to go, you know, come home. And man, I had it so much easier years ago when I've been to detoxes and psych wards, and my mom would put me in psych wards. She would have them, you know, come out here and pick me up. She would entrap me at the house, you know, kind of gaslight me, and tell me, you know, oh, here's sandwiches, and here's, you know, you're homeless, so here's, you know, food, and go ahead, lay down, and then this and that. And 14 cops would be at the freaking door, you know, or not at the door, but in the backyard, you know, just jumping the fence, and like, Mom, what the hell, you know, there I go to the freaking state hospital for 2 weeks, you know, and they're like, well, your mom helped you, and what's that on the ground? And it's a G-pipe full, you know what I mean, and my rigs and everything, and I'm like, that's not mine. And they're like, look, mom's helping you, so we're gonna we didn't see that, you know? So, yeah, so that happened millions of times, like, Jesus Christ, not millions, I mean hundreds, like, I want to say hundreds, man. I do, because I spent like all last year in psych wards and detox facilities. And like I said, she's trying. She's definitely trying. She's actually currently fighting herself against her word to me. Her word was she's not going to do it again. She's fighting herself over it because she's like, you know, I got half a mind, son. If you just keep showing me, I keep having people coming up to the house and saying, Casey's out there, you know, acting a fool again. He looks like he's having a seizure in front of, you know, Taco Bell. But that's what happens when I come down from the blues and the meth and G at the same time, is that my bones just get contorted, and like I have these spasms. The medical, the EMTs and the cops call it caterpillaring, I guess. I heard them call it that one time, and that's just like, you're just kind of thrashing around like that, you know? And I'm doing that as I'm coming down. So they go and tell my mom that. So recently they've been telling my mom that. So she's like, I got a half a mind just to go against that word and put you in there for another 2 weeks. And hopefully, you know, we come out just clean. And, you know, actually saying this now, I'm a dumbass because, yeah, I told her that I got to keep my, oh man. Okay, so thanks for, this is why I talk to myself, and this is why, oh man, I got to tell her sorry. because I told her that I would keep my word, that if she put me back in there, I would come out just to use. You know, that if she did that, I would spitefully have to keep my word. Yeah, I'm gonna change that. After we talk, I'm gonna probably go and, you know, do my thing. But then tonight I go over there to try and see if I can beg to sleep in the backyard. And when I do, I'm gonna talk to her and I'm gonna tell her sorry. And if she did put me back in there, I wouldn't come out just to use again. I'll try to stay clean again.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. You know, you only have one mom, you know, and so you've obviously had a really rough childhood and traumatic, and it's insane that your father, a pastor, would be the person that introduces you to that when he's supposed to protect you. So, you know, shame on him, but that's not your fault. But what you choose to do with your life, that's your responsibility, right?
Yes,
so if your mom is trying to help you, your siblings are trying to help you, you know, try to take care of yourself, you know, man up and have the courage to go through withdrawals and go through treatment to really come out on top and get help for your mental health issues and for your dependency on this drug out here that you know is no good. It's no good at all. You understand that, right? You understand it.
I mean, look at this. You know, I got, you know, my teeth have had holes getting drilled into them by these blues. And the 2 holes that I'm showing you happened within a matter of like just two months. Like there was nothing, and then bam, my fingernail fell off for no reason. I'm getting all these bumps and millions of chickenpox looking things. Yeah, for no reason.
So Casey, that's your body, you know, failing. That's what's happening. You know, your body's starting to fail on you, and you're too young for that. And so you really need to sit down and talk to yourself and really end this before, you know, your organs start failing on you, your kidneys, your you know, your brain, your lungs, and it's dangerous, you know, what you're doing, and you know that. So I'm going to give you my information so that we can stay in touch, so I could follow your journey through sobriety, and hopefully you have good news for us in the next few months, okay? So I want to say thank you for sharing your story. It's an intense story that somebody can learn from it out there, on the tragedies, on how the people that are supposed to defend and protect us the most sometimes are the ones that defeat us the hardest, right? So I admire your courage for willing to open up, and this story is going to help somebody out there, okay? So it really will. You'll prevent other little kids from experiencing what you've been through. So please get well. Let's stay in touch, and thank you very much, okay?
Thank you.